From the studios here at CATV6 and RobinHoodRadio.com, thank you once again for tuning in to What the Shirt Says. That's right, Simply Sports. My name is Andy Williams. Thank you very much for tuning in. January the 8th, 2020. We made it. Brand new year. Same me. Same old me. A little bit of a raspy voice, but is what it is. If you want to call and tune in and debate with me live on the phone lines, 860-824-4200, 860-824-4200. Got a lot on the plate today. I hope everybody had a great holiday and a great new year. So let's get right to it, shall we? Start with the local high school action. Hoosier boys basketball. They've started the year out 0-5 with losses to Wolcott Tech, Litchfield, Northwestern, and Chippewa since last we spoke. They have two home games coming up. Home against Mount Everett on Friday, and on Tuesday at home against Gilbert. So make sure you go out and support the Hoosier boys so that they get their first W. Hoosier girls basketball, kind of a mixed bag. Wins and losses. They're 3-3, trying to find some traction. They got a home game tomorrow night at Weebatuck, and at Gilbert Tuesday night. So good luck to the Hoosier girls basketball team. The Hoosier hockey team is 1-3, but a very hard-fought game against Newington, losing 2-1. And they played extremely hard and just came up a little bit short. Coming up, they have 3 games this week, all on the road. Tonight, they travel to the Gunnery to take on Chippewa. Then they travel Saturday to Enfield. And then they travel to Hall on Monday. So good luck to all Housatonic athletes and all Housatonic sports this week. To golf, Justin Thomas defeated Patrick Reed and Xander Schauffele on the 3rd playoff hole to win the Centra Tournament of Champions. Now, this was a weird final round. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Justin Thomas had the tournament all locked up. All he had to do was keep the ball in the ballpark on the 18th hole, par the last, and he's in. He did not do that. He bogeyed the hole. Xander Schauffele 3-putted from 25 feet to let Patrick Reed into the playoff. Hence, there was a 3-way playoff. And then with darkness setting in, they could play only 3 holes. Justin Thomas birdied the last after one of the crowd members yelled cheater in the middle of Patrick Reed's swing, missing the putt. And Justin Thomas promptly drills his putt for birdie to win the championship. A couple of thoughts from this. Number 1, Patrick Reed needs to keep quiet about this. This whole thing. Number two, the fans need to keep quiet also. But it first starts with Patrick Reed. And he needs to keep it down about that little incident in Jupiter. In darts, yes, I am going to European darts. The World Championship is done. Snakebite Peter Wright defeated Mighty Michael Van Gerwen 7-3 to win the World Championship of darts for the very first time. Excuse me. But that, however, is not the big story. The big story that came out of the darts championship was the very first female to defeat a male dart player in the history of the PDC World Championships. And that honor belongs to Fallon Sherrick. She made it all the way to the final 32. Played well in that round, but ultimately lost 4-2. They have this little thing going on ABC, which I think is kind of cool. And I think it's great. And it should be done. And that's the Jeopardy Greatest of All Time. The three greatest champions of all time: Ken Jennings, Brad Nutter, and Jeopardy James. James Holzhauer, but I call him Jeopardy James. And they did night one of this tournament. Ken Jennings won night one, barely getting by James Holzhauer. Brad was a non-factor the entire night. I believe that you're going to see these two go back and forth. Now, the format is, it's the first person to 3 wins. Now, they play 2 half-hour segments. The combined score wins the night. So Ken Jennings right now leads 1-0 over everybody. Brock Lesnar in WWE, for all my wrestling fans out there, returned. Finally. And you figured, okay, who's he going to face at the Royal Rumble? Who's it going to be? Turns out nobody. Turns out he's not putting the title on the line. Instead, he entered himself in the Royal Rumble as the #1 entrant. What in the heck is WWE thinking right now? What are they thinking? Do they really want to do Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt to see who gets both belts? Really? We saw it last year with the women. Now we're going to see it this year with the men. Nobody wants to see that. That just totally kills the purpose of having a Royal Rumble. Now, whenever Paul Heyman makes a spoiler, he's been right every time. Is he right here again? If he is, then what kind of viewership is WWE going to have after the Royal Rumble? Because I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be good. Because there are so many more superstars that can win the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, just to name a couple. But if they really go down this route, yikes. That's all I got to say is yikes. National championship game on Monday. They forced us to wait 3 weeks until we see Clemson versus LSU. Now, when it first reported here, LSU beat Oklahoma, and not just beat them. They took it behind the woodshed and beat them profusely. 63-28. Joe Burrow had 7 touchdowns. Yes, 7. And they looked absolutely dominant, overwhelming Oklahoma. Clemson, on the other hand, had a lot of trouble against Ohio State. But they managed to beat a very good defense. A very good defense in Chase Young and the Buckeyes. And they found a way. Because it seems like over the last 5 years that Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, they always find a way to win. No matter what. Because that's how good they are. That's why they've won the national championship 2 out of the last 3 years. Who wins this game? Monday night? In a very close game. By a field goal. Clemson, once again, finds a way and spoils the impromptu home game that LSU will have in New Orleans to win the national championship for the third time in 4 years. To the NBA. The big story coming out of the NBA, really, I mean, not a lot really changed. Nothing really. You had the Lakers continuing to beat up on sub-500 teams, but yet they struggle and lose to the Clippers again. And they lose to above 500 teams. And now, after they beat up on the pitiful Knicks, Anthony Davis is out with injury for an extended period after he slammed his back onto the court. This is not good if you're a Lakers fan. Anthony Davis is going to miss time. LeBron James is going to be by himself. And now you have teams coming out, NBA teams and players, that said even though the Lakers are 30-7, one of the 2 best records in the NBA, they're soft. They came right out and said they are soft. And I tend to agree. I said it before, I'll say it again. The Lakers can do all the damage they want against sub-500 teams. When they face a team with a winning record, they struggle. And they don't do good. In fact, the more people or the more teams that they play above 500, the teams are more physical against the Lakers, and they have better game plans. Hence is why the Lakers struggle. And as well, those above 500 teams can put up points, not the sub 500 teams. Everybody's saying, oh, well, the Lakers have this great defense. No, they don't. No, they don't. The Lakers have a mediocre defense at best. So once again, don't crown the Lakers champions already. I said it before, I'll say it again. The Clippers are the best team in the Western Conference. That is a fact. The record doesn't show it. But until the Lakers can beat the Clippers, they are the best team. The Clippers are. Okay. I got about 10, 12 minutes left. Going to breeze through a little bit of NFL notes before I get to the main part of my show. The coaching carousel has begun. Mike McCarthy, former Green Bay coach, going to Dallas. I love this move. I do. Not just because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but he brings discipline, he brings credibility, and he brings no nonsense. And that's what the Cowboys need. I think this is a good hire. And I think it's going to be a great fit for Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper. So stay tuned to Dallas next season and the seasons to come. And then there are the New York Giants. The New York Giants, oh my goodness. You get rid of Pat Shurmur, okay. All right, that's great. You have Marvin Lewis on the market. You have the Baylor coach on the market. You have Jim Caldwell. You have defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli from the Cowboys. Hell, even Jason Garrett would have been an okay fit in New York. But you go with the wide receivers special teams coach from the New England Patriots, Joe Judge. Really? And let me reiterate, the wide receivers coach for the New England Patriots. Who exactly did Tom Brady, who was he throwing to this year? Besides Julian Edelman in the slot. Let me think. Oh yeah, nobody. Their tight end play was terrible. And you hire a guy who's never ever been a coordinator? If you thought that the Giants weren't set back another, I don't know, 5, 10 years, this hire just reaffirmed it. And along with Daniel Jones, now granted he's going to develop, but Saquon's been hurt. Ingram's been hurt. All these other pieces that have been hurt. The New York Giants are slowly but surely becoming the, dare I say, the next version of the Cleveland Browns. That's right. Think about it. How many coaches have they gone through? What has their record been since they went on that boat before that playoff game in Green Bay? Think about it. Over the last 5, 6 years, they've been terrible. I think they've won, what, a grand total of not even 15 games? The Giants better be careful that they don't lose this franchise, which, for all intents and purposes, they have. They need to get rid of Dave Gettleman, the GM. I don't know what he sees, but this was not the right hire. I'm going to go quick through my picks for this week before my last 5 minutes. Minnesota versus San Francisco. I have San Francisco winning big. I think the joyride for Kirk Cousins is over. Seattle versus Green Bay. This is going to be a good football game. Green Bay 8-1 on the road. Or Seattle 8-1 on the road. Green Bay 7-1 at home. I trust Seattle more on the road, though. Seattle wins a close game. And they deny Aaron Rodgers once again. Houston versus Kansas City. I have Kansas City winning this game, getting revenge from their Week 4 loss, I believe. But Kansas City will win this game, with Patrick Mahomes having a large game. And then Tennessee versus Baltimore. I think Tennessee's win against New England was a fluke. And I think Lamar Jackson runs wild all over Tennessee. So finally, the aforementioned Titans defeated the Patriots. The 18-year run of the New England Patriots dynasty is, for all intents and purposes, over. It's done. And the whole thing with social media, all I see on Facebook is, oh, well, I'm so glad they lost. I'm so glad they lost. Okay, shut up. Shut up. I'm a Cowboys fan, but you know what? What the New England Patriots did in an 18-year span was go to the Super Bowl in every other year. Name one other team that can do that. I'll wait. Oh, that's right. No one. Bill Belichick will arguably go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time. But is he going to leave? Some people say he is going to leave. Maybe he'll just stay in the front office. But I don't know where Bill Belichick is going to go, or if this was it. But more importantly, was this it for Tom Brady? Was this it for the GOAT? Now, I'm not saying that Tom Brady is going to retire. Do I think he should retire? Absolutely. He's 43 years old. And trust me, time is going to win. He wants to play 2 more years. But for God's sakes, Tom, you won 6 championships. You made it to 9 Super Bowls. Don't you think maybe you should just take a step back? You don't have the arm strength like you do anymore. But if you do go, here are some of the places in which I think that the Patriots and what the Patriots should do. First, I'll do a couple far fetches, and then I'll do some very likely candidates. Number 1, he could go to the Raiders. David Carr, he's not coming back. And I think Tom Brady, John Gruden, I'm just saying, be weird, but be kind of fun. The other notion would be the Patriots signed Tom Brady to a 2-year deal, and then they trade him. To whom? Well, why not Cincinnati? Now, why Cincinnati? Cincinnati holds the number 1 pick. And you know, and everybody knows, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to pick Joe Burrow. Maybe group Tom Brady up with a couple picks. Send him to Cincinnati. The Patriots get the 1st overall pick. And then they have their quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. Not out of the realm. Now the likely scenarios. Indianapolis. Great line. Good running game. Weapons. Pretty good. LA Chargers. Melvin Gordon. The wide receiving core. Phillip Rivers is gone. He would look good. And then finally, Tampa. Mike Evans. And they have some offensive weapons down there. Bruce Arians is a coach. I like it. So those are my 3 candidates on where Tom Brady could go. And by the way, from my Uncle Skip, between the Vikings and the Saints, when the Vikings beat the Saints, yes, that was offensive pass interference. But we will talk about that on the next show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to Simply Sports, January the 8th, 2020. Make sure you tune in to me on Facebook Live, 1 o'clock every Wednesday. I'm on YouTube, Simply Sports with Andy Williams. CATV 6 every Wednesday, 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock on the rebroadcast. And for Michael Flint, Marshall Miles, Brian Oler, this was my 2-year anniversary here on CATV 6. So happy anniversary to me. And 1, 4, 3. Thanks, guys.